Hello, and welcome to Engenho Ignis. Today, I want to go here for the rest of the requirements for the YouTube CLI and try to come with an implementation that satisfies these requirements. But first, before I start doing this, I want to change something that has to do with dependency injection. So I said before that I wouldn't use dependency injection because when trying to use dependency injection with Cocona, I was getting something like 400 milliseconds execution time just for writing hello world to the console. And this was way above our requirement here for 100 milliseconds. So today I tested a bit another library for doing console applications. And yes, I want to use a library for this. I could maybe just don't use any library and it could be more performant, but I want to use a library for this. So I tested today the Spectre.Console.Cli, and for just writing a hello world application, it took 100 milliseconds. So the thing is, it already takes 100 milliseconds, and that means that probably if I implement the rest of the YouTube CLI, it will still take more than 100 milliseconds, so I wouldn't be able to satisfy this requirement. But I want to use dependency injection so bad because I never really programmed an application with dependency injection. I mean, not a serious application anyway. And I just want to use it so bad so that I learn about it, that I'm ready to like sacrifice a little bit of performance for this. And so the first thing I want to do is changing our app to not use Cocona, but the Spectre.Console.Cli library instead. But first, let me just commit the change that I've done on the last video here. Okay, commit message implement a way of getting the subscriber count with YouTube data API library. Okay, let's commit this and go back to the Explorer. Okay, that's it. Some things that I've changed, I think, outside of the video, was that now my base client service initializer use the API key that's defined here, and these things here are defined as constant, and they were variables before. I think that's it. Okay. I can see here that this is not necessary, so I'll take this away and save. But yeah, let's change the thing that so that it uses Spectre Console CLI and not Cocona. So let's install first the Spectre Console NuGet. So go to Manage NuGet, and here we can just type Spectre Console, and again we can install it. And okay, now it's installed. Can make this smaller. And now there are some things that we need to do. So I guess the first thing is I will make a using Spectre Console.Cli here. And I'll need to change the main accordingly, but I also need to add some extra classes here to handle dependency injection. So The way that we can do this is, I think, first add the classes for the dependency injection. So there is some interface that we need to implement. And I think the most simple way to do it is to find the example that they write here somewhere. I think here maybe, or maybe not. I think, okay, I think it's here. Yes, dependency injection. So here there is an example in their GitHub for dependency injection. And if you go to infrastructure, you'll see these two classes here. They are necessary. If you want to use the Microsoft extensions, so the Microsoft dependency injection mechanism, let me see if I already added it to the application. So I think we have too much nuggets here, right? So I will take everything away here. I don't need this because if you take a look, this is this 7.0.0 preview. I don't want a preview nuggets. That was a error of mine before, a mistake that I did here. I forgot to uncheck this pre-release checkbox. So I'll just take this pre-release versions away, and then I will install the main release of the Microsoft extensions dependency injection again. I think I'll let Newton soft JSON for now there, because I think I want to use JSON again to do this project. But let me install the Microsoft extensions. I missed Microsoft. Microsoft extensions dot dependency injection here. So we have the version 6.0.0, and that's the version that we want. So let's install this. Okay, this is now installed, and as I was telling you, we need these two classes here. So there is the TypeRegistrar and the TypeResolver. So we will use the TypeRegistrar directly. So we will pass our services to the TypeRegistrar here in the constructor. So we pass the iService collection to the TypeRegistrar, but the TypeRegistrar itself needs a TypeResolver when you use the method build. And the TypeResolver then will use the build service provider method of the builder, which is the service collection. Okay. So, long story short, let me copy this. So first I'll copy the TypeResolver. Okay. So we need a new class. The class is called TypeResolver. And we can just copy the whole class here. So let me copy this. And yeah, let's add this to Git and paste this here and make small changes. So I want to have another namespace. The namespace I think is YouTube-CLI. And I like my namespaces to be before my using statements. Nice. I think there are some other things that Ryder is picking up here. So let's just try to see what's the problem here. Show context menu, and yeah, because type here is not nullable. Ryder is saying, okay, why are we checking for null if type isn't nullable? So let's make type nullable. And why are we returning null if object isn't nullable? So let's make object nullable. And then it's saying, okay, why are you using an if you could just use this operator here? And then you just have, okay, so the tertiary operator, right? So you just say, okay, if type is null, then return null, and if not null, then return provider dot get service type. Excellent. Okay, one thing I don't like is this underscore convention. I'm not really a fan of it. I'm not sure. I think it's because I usually use stylecop, and the stylecop doesn't like it. So that's why I don't like it. Let me install stylecop as well here. And existing item, I guess. No, sorry. Manage NuGet package, and let me install stylecop because I'm almost sure stylecop doesn't like it. For stylecop, I want the pre-release version because the released version of stylecop is really old. So let me take the pre-release version of stylecop, and okay, it's installed. So now we have a lot of warnings, and one of these warnings is this one here, that stylecop doesn't like underscores. So now there is no underscore there. Another thing that stylecop doesn't like is not documented classes and things and elements. That's why we're getting here element should be documented, and so on. I will not do this right now. Maybe later. Okay, so and I think stylecop wants me here to put a this here and here as well. This. So that we know that is coming from inside, right? Yeah, I think this is it. Maybe I can suppress the documentation. Interesting. So now we have here contradictory conventions. So Rider wants me to put an underscore here because this is a field. And it says, okay, instance fields should begin with an underscore. But at the same time, stylecop says it shouldn't begin with an underscore. So what I think I want to do is change naming rule for this. And I need to find fields and private, and I want no prefix. So I think that's it. Save, and now it should match stylecop. Okay, I also want to suppress the whole documentation warning because I don't want to solve this right now. Element should be documented. I want to disable it with pragma. Disable for this whole class, I guess. Or yeah, disable for a class. So yeah, now it wants a justification why I'm disabling this, and want me to put this here, I guess. So I think it should be here. There shouldn't be this space. And okay, now I think I need to fix justification, and the justification is penny. The justification is no time. to write documentation. Okay. So now I think everything's okay, but my header is still missing. And so add file header, and I want it to be not placeholder company, but Ingenio Ignis, and also Ingenio Ignis here. And then it will complain again, and I can add in header, add file header. Oh, no, not this. There is another way to do this. Usually the other way is to add, is to add a settings file. I thought it would be suggested right away. But it isn't. Usually they say, okay, this company name should match the settings file, but I have no option to add the settings file right now. Expression, the file header copyright text should match it exactly from the settings. Yes. I can add a file header. Okay, maybe I should just. Oh, I need a. Oh, what I done? I need a. What I need is an example. I'm so sorry. This is now going too far, but I'm already halfway there, so I'll just go on with it. Stylecop, JSON something. I think it's this one. So yeah, I think this is the stylecop.json, and then it has a whole thing here. Let me copy this. And what I want to do is to create a new JSON file, and it's stylecop.json. Let me copy the stylecop.json here. And I think I don't need anything like this for now. And I just want the company name. I hope this is right. Ingenium Ignis. Okay. And let me add this to the dictionary because it's complaining that it doesn't save Ingenium to a dictionary, edit inspection profile settings. Can I just, yes, save Ingenium to dictionary and save Ignis to dictionary. Okay. Okay, guys. So now the TypeResolver should have no complaints at all. There is one complaint. This is still not working. I think I need to say this is something build action. So non-compile content embedded resource application interface page additional. Maybe it's additional files. Yes. Okay. So it was additional files. So now it has no complaints from stylecop. So let me go on now and add the other class that is necessary. So that was a long trip. Here, go one page back and add the TypeRegistrar. So this goes here and add class TypeRegistrar. Okay. this is now added. Add to GitHub as well, or not to Git actually. Can I add this to Git as well? Git and add, yes. So, okay. And now I can go here and copy everything again. And then I need to make some changes because of stylecop, but you're getting the spirit of it. So, yeah, it's a mess, but I think it's easy to fix. One thing that it's missing, it's that this namespace is not right. Should be YouTube-CLI. Okay, then I should put these namespaces, these using statements here. And now it's looking better. Then I want to have the suppress message. The suppress message here as well. But something is not right. Okay, one thing's missing, the using statement. I think now I can just reorder using statement. Okay. So again, this power. And then I can solve this problem as well. Rename to builder. Okay. And also you should use these, right? So it doesn't seem that I can solve it for the whole file. So let me copy this and do this builder, this builder, and this builder. Okay. Yes, I think the two types are now implemented. That's cool. Those are the files that we needed. So the two classes. Now we can go back to our program.cs, and naturally, stylecop is complaining again. So let me take this again and put it here. So now it's complaining that it doesn't have the right using statement for doing a suppress message, and now it's complaining about the reorder, and now here it's also complaining about the header that's missing. I think maybe in the TypeRegistrar as well it's missing the header, so it's complaining about this as well. And I think Ride is complaining about something here. It's complaining that provider is never used here, so we can just discard this parameter because it's never used. Okay, so we're back to it, and that's cool. There's also a complaint here about using directory is not required by the code. Okay, so it's complaining about this, but we'll use it soon enough. So the next steps we can take from here. And what we need to do is first make this variable which receives a service collection. And let me put this here. And this service collection comes from our Microsoft extensions dependency injection thing. Let's reorder this. Okay. And after we have these registrations, we could actually register some service, but I won't do this right now, but soon enough. So after this, so it registers something, and then it has a registrar, and it uses this TypeRegistrar thing that we have copied into our project. So let's just do this. This worked fine. And now the next thing is to initialize the app with a command. For now, we still don't have the command, but we will have it soon enough. And after initializing the app with the command, we need to run the app with return app run. And I hope there is something like async something. So let me make a command app. I think the command app is like this, and then we have a return run, but we also have a return run async, and then I hope you can just return await app async. Okay, and then I think what's missing is our task here, and I think this task must return an integer, right? Yeah. So let me put it like this. So I think that's perfect. We're just missing the default command for our command app, and I will call this the get subscriber count command. So this is indeed a new type, and which means we won't have a YouTube-CLI app class anymore, but we'll have a type for each command. So I think what I want to do is to create a folder here and directory here. And that directory will be called commands. Okay, so we have commands, and inside of commands, I want to have a new class, and this class will be called get subscriber count. Okay, and we will add it to our source control. Okay, so if we go back to programs, we probably need to make a new using statement, and this would be using commands. Okay, and so it's saying it needs to be full qualified. So that's the reason why I like stylecop. It doesn't let you do things different. So you always following a pattern, be it for documentation or for how you write your code. And I think that's nice. I don't know if every programmer likes this, but I like this. It makes you be, if it forces you to be consistent. Okay, so let's continue. After adding this using statement, so now we already have access to our get subscriber count class, but it's still is an error here because it says that the get subscriber count should be convertible to an I command. And to accomplish this, we need to say, okay, our class get subscriber count is inherited from something else. And this something else comes from using Spectre.Console.Cli. And now we can say, okay, this is a command. There is like some abstraction. It's like an async command, I guess. Wait a second. There is here in the example, you can say, I think, not here. I'm sure you can creating commands here. So yes, okay, it's just a command. So I can say, okay, this is an async command, and the async command must receive settings. So now we can create a public class here as well. I'm not sure if it needs to be public, but let's start with public. And this class will be called settings. And this inherits from setting something, common settings, this. So now I can go here and say this is just the get subscriber account.settings. Okay, and now it's saying, okay, if you have an async command, then you should implement some things, and we can go and do implement missing members. And now we have just the execute async here as missing members. So now we have other problems. One problem is that settings a class and stylecop probably saying, no, here is saying, okay, we can inherit documentation, that's no problem. But another problem is a method should not follow a class. So what I can do is select everything here and make it come before the class. Okay. So now this is getting better. Sure. Okay. So one thing that is missing is our header. And let me bring the ignore statement here so that we don't need to document things right now. We can still document it later. Okay, and now they're saying, okay, you can suppress it without the using statement, and the user statement is, as always, in the wrong place. Okay, now I think everything is fine, but this is still, what's the problem here? Okay, just saying that's never instantiated. It will also never be instantiated. So I'll just tell Rider to not tell me this. Configure severity, do not show. Don't want to show this. Okay. So that's good for now. So our settings are empty. I think we really don't need settings now. So now what we need is to copy what was here before, right? I'll just copy these here in the what was in the YouTube-CLI app and put here in this command. So I'll put it here. And at the end, I'll just return 0. Just say, okay, everything was good. And now we need to import some missing references in this file and put them in the right place. Remove some trailing spaces that were added here. And for some reason, it's having problem with the await. The await expression can only be used. Oh, wait. Okay. This isn't marked as async. So now, oh no, it's okay. But what's the problem here? Sort modifiers. Okay, override first, then async later. Good. Okay, so now we have our whole code that was before in YouTube-CLI app. We have it here in this get subscriber count, which is now a command. So it's a class, and this class implements the async command. And now we can go to program and see, okay, our command app. That's a way to declare an app that only has one command, right? So our command app has this command here. This command is represented by the other class. and that's it. So for all purpose, we can delete the using Cocona statement. We can delete the YouTube-CLI app class, and we can indeed, I think, compile this code. So first, I want to make a comparison. So first, let us time the YouTube CLI as it was with Cocona.Lite. So you can see that it took in the user space 400 milliseconds. Let me do it again. Yeah, so circa 400 milliseconds. It's necessary. 450, 390, 370, 77, 399. So let's stay with the 400 milliseconds, okay? So let me clear this, and now I'll publish this with the whole Spectre.Console.Cli thing. So let me publish this, and I'm expecting to see two things here. The first thing is that it should now take longer. The second thing is that it should work exactly the same. So let me bring back the console here. And oh, I never seen the full icon before. Oh, that's so nice. It's like a leaf. Ah, cool. Okay, sorry. So let me time it again, and hopefully. Oh no. Microsoft Extensions Dependency Injection Service Provider. Microsoft Extension Dependency Injection Service Collection Container Builder Extensions Builder Service Provider. What's going on? Did I do anything wrong? Oh no. Okay, so this wasn't expected. I need to figure out what's going on. I'll try to debug this, but yeah, wasn't expecting this to happen. Yeah, let me go here to debug mode and try to get here a breakpoint. Something's wrong with the service collection. But why? So is this a problem? No. Is this a problem? No. Is this a problem? No. But I'm guessing this will be a problem. Yeah. So I think the problem is that I'll not know what the problem is. Because no, it just say 8. I'm sorry. So what happened then? It clearly says 8. It worked. Does it has a problem again with how I'm publishing it? Okay, I saw that it worked, but the published version is not working. Let me publish this again. Now I clicked on trim unused assemblies, but I'm really confused right now because the debug version clearly worked, but the published version wouldn't work. So I'm curious which is the result now when I publish it again. Oh, okay. Now it works. So something went wrong in the first publishing thing. So now it works. So okay, let me take a look now. How many time does it take? So it took something like 400, right? Okay, so it's not. We aren't seeing some stupid difference on the time that it's taking. It's taking something like 400 milliseconds in the user space, which is what we were getting more or less with Cocona. So we have changed with Cocona.Lite, I must say. So Cocona.Lite wasn't able to use dependency injection. So with Cocona.Lite, I couldn't use dependency injection. Now I'm able to use dependency injection with Spectre.Console.Cli, and we haven't got a big hit in performance. It's in the same ballpark. That's good. That's great. So now I think I will. Let me take a look here. What's the problem? Also, that's just Rider saying that the qualifier is redundant. Yeah. Remove redundant qualifier. I want to not show this kind of hint because the cop likes redundant qualifier. So now I don't have any warnings in this. I don't have, hopefully, any warnings in program. I don't have, close this. I don't have any warnings here, and I don't have any warnings here. I was looking here, this check. So that's great. I think this deserves a commit. So let me commit this and say use Spectre.Console.Cli instead of Cocona.Lite. And I also, let me do an enter here, also added the style cop to project and commit this. Okay. So, but now I'm still not using dependency injection per se. I'm injecting nothing. What I think is I could inject maybe this YouTube service. That's for sure a dependency here. And there is also the this initializer thing. So what I'm thinking is how should I do this? I hope the initializer, does this Google API thing, does it has interfaces? So if I do, there is the I YouTube service. No, there isn't. There is no iYouTube service. So let me search for it. So YouTube service interface dependence injection. I'm not sure that there is something like this. Maybe I'll go Google API library. Google Guide is the framework to automate the dependency injection in applications. Maybe I should search for .NET. Oh, there is an iClient service. Okay. I think the client service was this abstraction, right? No, this is base client service. So do I have the iClient service? I have the iClient service. Okay, so does the YouTube service implements the iClient service? Does the YouTube service implement anything? Yeah, The YouTube service implements the base client service. Okay, and the base client service implements the iClient service. Interesting. So is my, but I think I don't need a generic iClient service. I need a whole YouTube service, right? So if I do iClient service A here, and I look what A has the API key, okay, but A does not have channels, right? Yes. So I do need a specific implementation of the iClient service. So if I would do dependency injection here, I would say what I need to register is actually just the concrete type. Then it doesn't make really sense because I'm not injecting a interface per se, but I'll do anyway. So just let me do it this, and I can worry later about if it makes sense or not. So let me make a constructor here, and the constructor will get two things that this constructor needs. It needs a YouTube service. That's the YouTube service right here. And it also needs a initializer. And the initializer is of type initializer. So, okay, it needs a initializer. And this initializer comes from here. So it needs a base client service initializer. And this is called just initializer. And how I will handle this will be like, I think I'll do a field here. And my field will be a private field, a private YouTube service. I think I need this. So a private YouTube service, the type. And I think I can do read only YouTube service. Yes. So that's my private read only YouTube service, and I can go here and say, okay, this YouTube service is that's interesting. I think I can't, because I need to new up a YouTube service using the base client service initializer. And because afterwards, I think it's not possible to, I can say what's your initializer, right? I can set the initializer anymore. Yeah, I can't. So it needs the initializer when it's being newed up. Yeah, this won't. I think I won't be able to make dependency injection here work, right? Because I can't inject this because I need this to new up this, and I will probably need different instance of this depending on the command or not. Actually, for now, I just need it for the API key. So it may be possible, it seems. So I don't need to inject this, I guess. At first, I don't need to inject this because I will just inject the YouTube service. It will be already newed up. And then I just say YouTube service is this. What you don't like here. And this. Okay. So now, to make this dependency injection work, we need to go to our program and add the YouTube service to our service collection, to our registrations. So we can go here and say our registrations dot add, and I think I will add a transient, right? I'll add a transient, and what I'll add is what I can do is add the implementation factory. This is not what I want. I can add the service. Okay, I can say, okay, so I want to add a transient, but I need to specify like a factory for the transient. How does it work? I can do like a lambda, I guess. Yeah, the iService provider and the type implementation. All right. So I think I can do a lambda. I'm a bit confused on the function. So I think this has a like something, and then okay, this is the service provider. So I can do like service provider, or first do nothing here, and here I can say just new YouTube service, and say new client service. It's not client service. This is something initializer. Base client service, yes. So, and say that's the initializer, and I can say the initializer with the API key is equal to the API key, right? So that would mean the API key is equal to, here I can do var API key, and let me take the API key here from the get subscriber account. That will be the API key. And then I can go and say that the API key is equal to the API key. And that's it. So what I hope this does is that it would register this YouTube service here. And when a class needs YouTube service, it will give this one, right? So I still not sure that's the way that I should do this, but let's do this like this for now. So now suddenly I don't need this here, right? And I just don't need this here as well. And here I can just say use this YouTube service that was injected to you. So don't try to new up yourself. We have newed up this before, so no problem there. One thing I think I can do as well is let me see. So first, let me see if this still works, right? So let me publish this. This should still work. So you should get the YouTube service injected through dependency injection. That would be at least the expectation right now. And let's see also if we still are getting hitting the 400 milliseconds, right? So let's try it out. First, just hit enter and hope it works. Okay, and now just time it. So 400 milliseconds in user space. So 396, 399. Yeah. So we are consistently hitting the 400 milliseconds. That's nice, and it's working. We are getting our 8 here, right? And here as well. So yeah, great. That's really, really great. I'm really happy with it for now. So one thing I noticed, we don't need this anymore. That's also nice. One thing I noticed is that here on the program side of things, I think we can probably also make other registrations here, add transient, and I think what we can do is, I think here we can add like a singleton, and a singleton for the type base client service initializer, right? And we can provide here the implementation instance itself. So we can just instantiate this. We can instantiate this whole thing here. Okay. So that when we do it, so this whole thing. Oh, and we also don't need to specify this. Okay, that's awesome. So we can add the singleton here, and probably here, what we can do is take the service provider and use it to get a service, and we can pass the type of the service here, and we'll get the service, the initializer itself, right? Why not? Class name is not valid at this point. What does it mean? Oh, type of, yes. So now it has another problem. What's the problem now? Cast to initializer. Sure. So, oh, okay. This is not so neat as I thought it would be. I thought it would be, this would be really more better this way by adding like this service before, but now it just got so big. I think I just want to do this, like create a scope here and take this out here and put this inside the scope and return this, and just take here a variable and say this is the initializer, and this initializer is equal to this whole thing here, and probably I should put the initializer, and the initializer is nullable, and what they're saying is yeah, it's a nullable warning, and I probably should check it as for null. Then I can say, okay, if initializer is null, then throw a new exception, throw new something null reference exception, and maybe I can get a message here. Couldn't get initializer service. So this way we know what caused the problem. And this is still make some on it. Oh, okay, I can just say, okay, this is like this. Okay, now we have it. No warnings anymore, almost. reorder those. Okay, no warnings anymore. And we get two service registered separately. First, we have our singleton here. That's our client service initializer. And then we have a transient, or I think also could be a singleton. I'm not sure why I made this transient, but because we're going to make some change to it, maybe, yeah. Let it be a transient for now. And so our initializer has the API key, and the transient thing has the initializer, so it also has the API key. So if we would publish this again, we should still see the same thing. So it's published. Let's check if it's still working. And yes, it's still working. And yeah, pretty happy with it. So now that dependency injection is working, let's go back to our requirements and take a better look on it. So for sure, what I see here is one of the requirements is that we need to get the subscriber count of our channel, and not only of Ingenio Ignis. And as you see, I've already marked this as satisfied, but is actually not. So to get a subscriber count of a channel, the channel ID must be a argument for the CLI application. So let's do this right now. Let's go to our get subscriber count command, and I'm pressing space to insert completion suggestion. Okay with that, so it doesn't come again. So this is done here in our class, and the way this is done is using some attributes. So let's take a look here on the Spectre console page, and as you see here, so what we need is just a property, right? And the property has an attribute here, the command argument attribute, and then you can say tell what's the number of this argument, so 0 for the first argument, and you can also say if the argument is optional, or if it's required by convention here, depending on the bracket that you use. So, for example, let me see here. We are in creating commands. I think there is some example where it's shown how this here specify settings. So specify settings command argument. So you can have a required argument or an optional argument. If it's optional, it must be nullable, and if it's required, it isn't nullable. Here you can we can read what they say. Arguments have a position and a name. The name is not only used for generating help, but its formatting is used to determine whether or not the arguments are optional. The name must either be surrounded by square brackets or angle brackets. Angle brackets denote required, whereas square brackets denote optional. If neither are specified, an exception will be thrown. So that settles it. Let me copy this. And what we will do is a public property. This public property will be a string, and it will be the channel ID, right? And it is get init. After set, we don't need to change it anymore. So let me do this, and it's called channel ID, right? That's that's a nice syntax here. So channel ID, it's called channel ID, and what it's the complaint here. Non-nullable property channel ID is uninitialized. Consider declaring the property as nullable. No, thank you. It will be initialized outside of here. Yeah, but I do wonder if I can say it's nullable. It's not optional, but it's nullable. Let's see if it has a problem with it. I don't think it will have. So now it requires a channel ID to work, right? The command. So if we go here, we don't need this anymore, right? Because we received this from the command itself, from the console, as a console argument. So what I will do here is the channel list request.id won't be the channel ID, but the settings dot channel ID. And these settings is the settings that we receive here, and these settings that we receive here is indeed the settings that we give here as a type parameter, and these are these. So yeah, that's how it works. And what's the complaint now? It needs to never use that. It is not supposed to be used by me. So that's the thing. Can I just ignore this? Yeah, do not show. So, okay. It has also another problem here somewhere because the chain ID is not used. Okay, so let me copy the chain ID. I must now put this in my pod configuration, because if I wouldn't, it wouldn't work. So let me bring my pod configuration now, and that is vim and I think dot posh. Yes. So vim.posh, and I can go to what's the segment again? I think the type is the first segment. So here, and now the command, it's not just YouTube-CLI, but it is YouTube-CLI. Let me paste this, right? But it has a problem with my how I put this to. So let me do like this. So I do YouTube-CLI and then I give my channel ID, and then it should work. All right. So if I do ask and then colon W for write and Q for quit, this is saved. And now it's a problem because the current published app doesn't support arguments. But if I publish this, and then I can take this constant away, if I publish this, it should work. Hopefully. Okay, this is done now. And if I press enter, I hope this works. Yes, it works. So everything's working today. That's nice. Yes, we have our 8 there. That's the number of subscribers. If you want to see this number increase, please subscribe. Consider subscribing to the channel. But we could actually take a look in other channels. For example, we could use YouTube-CLI and then put the channel ID for another channel. So we could go to YouTube and take a look on MKBHD, for example, right? And take Max Brownlee here. And his channel ID is just MKBHD. Wow. That's cool. Crazy. I didn't know that that this is possible. Nice. He has contacts. So if I go and put MKBHD here, then I should see nothing. Okay. Okay, maybe his channel ID isn't MKBHD. How I can get his channel ID then? That's interesting. I thought this was where you got no, this is the channel for sure. About, can I get the channel ID here somewhere? Interesting. I didn't know that it was possible to hide the channel ID. That can't be so hard, right? MKBAT channel ID. This must be somewhere. Aha! Someone has the same problem as I have. I face problem of fetching channel information by use channel name. For example, da is the URL. Here MKBHD is channel name. Is there any API endpoint which gives information by use channel name? I tried the channel list by YouTube username, but received different channel information. I try get information of channel 1 with its channel name, but got information of channel 2. I'm voting to close this question because this issue has been tackled time and again on this forum. I myself have recent series of answers pertaining precisely to this issue. See the items obtained from SOs. Get knowledge about these things. Can you get a YouTube channel ID from and username from the API? That points to a channel. So usernames are a legacy feature of the API v3. Not every channel has one attached. No channel is required to have one attached. Okay, if you come across it as a form C name or even /name, the name is not necessarily, though it could be, the YouTube username of an YouTube channel. Wow. Okay, it's harder than I thought. I can explore this later, but it seems that this is the, yes, that's the right ID here. So now that we have the ID, we can go here and just say, oh, that's the ID. And then we get 1,506,000. That's a too round number to be right. I don't like this. He has, no. He has 1,500,000. Oh. It isn't precise. So you can forget precise numbers. You won't get to the precise numbers of subscribe. The subscriber count is actually what we're seeing here. So it doesn't make sense to show that much zeros because they don't mean anything. They won't get up. And we should do something like this here. So only 15.6 M for million, right? I wonder if you have thousands of subscribers, how it's shown. Let me see. Let me click explore. Maybe I can find someone that has less than 1 million subscribers. I don't know, maybe you. How many subscribers do you have? Paleoanalysis, 34.2K subscribers. So indeed, it just shows K or the M depending if you have a million or thousands. So where is Rider? Did Rider just kill itself? Oh, let's open Rider again. Okay, so the argument is working as expected. It's just the way I printed the thing is not in compliance on how YouTube displays the information. I'll try to display the same way. Need to think on a good way to doing it. I think I don't need to do above a billion because we only have 7 billion people in the world. Don't think we'll get to 1,000 billion YouTube accounts. Hopefully not. So let me take Rider here, open the YouTube-CLI again, and change how we display the data that we receive, the subscriber count. Maybe there is already a way to do this in the internet, so that I don't need to think of a solution. C# display KMB for thousands, millions, and so on. String format numbers to millions, thousands with rounding. So someone has done this. This should help combined with one of the formatting techniques in the other questions you've linked to. What it does is, okay, max 3 significant digits. So it use some things to okay, then we could use maybe the same magic to make it for billions as well. So it could have M, K, and maybe B, right? And there is this added too. So that's neat here. Oh, that's everything we need, I hope. Yeah, so it's often so that Stack Overflow has everything you need. So I hope this works. I think it does. Let me take a look. So what it does, it take what's E? E is 10, and then 10 to the power of the maximal between 0 and log 10 of the number minus 2. Okay, the max thing just so that it isn't negative, right? So it is either these, or if this is negative, then 0. And the log 10 of a number is the exponent necessary to elevate 10 to that number, and then you're taking 2 away. Why are you taking 2 away? This I'm not sure. Maybe because I don't know. Yeah, this I really don't know. Yeah, but if it works, right? So what I want to build is, I think, an extension method. So I will just add like a extensions folder. And I want to make a class that will be just be called ulong extensions. Okay, that's the class. And at this, and this will be a public static class. Ulong extensions, yes. Let me add the header here, and this will have this public this here. Okay, let me copy this, and after copying this here, I will make this an extension method for ulong, and this extension method will be called to short rounded string. That's a pretty bad name. Maybe I can do it better later. Not sure, but for now, let me make like this and this and this and convert to switch expression. Okay, if you think you can. Oh yeah, sure, yeah, as a switch expression. Yes, right. And then as trading comma. Perfect. Yes, that's cool. And I don't like this short names. Let me refactor. Oh, no, not save delete. No. Let me refactor this to a whole name number. So I think that's better. Don't like those short names. So fine. Those are my. This is my extension right now. And what I need here is this, and let me ignore the thing again, the suppress message. Yes, and put it here. And it's complaining that it doesn't have the using statement that it needs. So let's add this as well. And after adding this, let's reorder it to the right place. And I almost copied to the right place. It should be here. So now it should be happy, right? It's never used. Okay, it's never used. It's not a problem because we're going to use it soon enough here when we get to write it. So instead to write like this, I want to make, I need to use my, try the using statement here. Use my extensions, YouTube-CLI extensions. It's necessary. So now I can just say subscribe account dot to and where is my extension? Yes, I forgot to. No, it's here. Too short. So what's the problem? And this should have worked. Why it won't work? Cannot access private method. Oh, it's private. Yes. The problem of copying things from Stack Overflow. So now it's public, and now it's happy. Okay. So let me publish again, and the subscriber account for Marquez should be looking better now. So let's test this and repeat the same command. And I hope to see perfect 15 1.6 million subscribers. Yeah, I think that's awesome. That's exactly how I wanted to see it. So now if Marcus would use uh, my little YouTube CLI here, he would see his 15.6 million subscribers. Yes. So folks, I think that's it for today. What we achieved is actually not that far from only this requirement. At the end, I didn't get to any other requirements, but I think we really did a lot on this video. We implemented dependency injection. We changed the whole library that we use for the whole console app thing, and we added stylecop to the project, and we got to change how the numbers are shown. We can use YouTube-CLI with any channel right now, as long as we have the ID. So we did a lot, and I hope I can soon make more videos and develop this app further. And I hope you liked it. Please leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you like what I'm doing so far. Yeah, thank you for watching. Never forget, ignite your brain. See you in the next video. Bye.